Welcome back to Inside Sources. I want to have a quick conversation with one of Nigeria's leading public intellectuals, a strategist, policy advisor, and who is the group CEO of GITC. I'd like to welcome back to Inside Sources, Malam Baba Yusuf. My brother, good to see you again.
It's always a pleasure to be here. Now, always a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Now, something happened, just as all of these, presidential, fake presidential agency scandal, the rescue in Oyo State.
Oyo State.
Yeah, the president submitted his ticket. And, of course, Vice President Kashim Shettima is the running mate again.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask you, does that, in your view, reopen the Muslim ticket, which was quite of a big deal, in 2023, in your view?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. I think the tension about the Muslim ticket was more germane during the build-up to the 2023 elections, considering the timing, considering the situation, considering the uncertainty, considering the fact that we had a Muslim president from the north, right, with a vice president that is a professor of law from the south.
Who is also a pastor.
Who is also a pastor, thank you, at that time. And then we have this shift, dramatic shift to a Muslim tickets as proposed by then candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And the concerns for the proponents was it can fly, it could fly because of the MQ Abiola Kingibe ticket and all that.
Yeah.
But then because given the sensitivities around diversity of Nigeria in terms of religion, ethnicity, which remains an issue. For anyone that thinks identity politics is not a key issue in politics in Nigeria and globally, and that person is snoozing in another planet. It's an issue. And that is why you could see even people that were aligned with then candidate Tinubu, like Babachir Lawal and others, broke away.
Yeah.
Of course, part of it was because of political survival, because the impression then was this factor is so crucial as a critical success factor that potentially most of the people that went away didn't actually go away because of their love for Christianity, but for self-preservation to think that the Muslim ticket was not going to fly. But Bola Ahmed Tinubu, candidate Ashwaju, flew a kite, rolled the dice, took a risk, and it worked for him. Bottom line, that was there. Now, 2027, if you ask me, in School of Strategy, in School of Reality, and in School of Politics, you don't change the winning team. And even
that's why I ask you.
Yes, you don't change. Thank you very much. You don't change the winning team because they won the election with Vice President Kashim Shettima. Love him or hate him, he's a man that comes with a lot of value. Yeah. He may not be noisy, he may not be punchy the way the traditional toxic politicians are, but he comes with amiability. He comes with some kind of credibility. You may like it or not, but it is what it is. Right. He's a man that is, I believe, is a fit for him to continue working with the president. Remember the toxic relationship between former President Olusegun Obasanjo and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. You can see in this case, it is close to almost the same with the relationship between late President Buhari and Professor Yomi Eshuvaju. Amiable relationship, mutual respect, loyalty, and that level of decency. Let me use that word decency because Vice President Kashim Shettima is a decent human being in that regard, in the same ilk or even close to Professor Oshibaju. So I think it's okay. And bottom line, they are the ones running the game. They will decide how they roll. But if you look at the sensitivity of the citizens and the populace, I mean the electorate, which is also very crucial, to say, could it fly? I think President Tinubu was able to douse the tension politically in that regard for the first and second year of his administration. I don't know how it is going to be. We'll discuss that later. By appointing a Christian as SGF, a Christian as Senate President, and reminding people that his wife is a senior pastor in one of the biggest churches in Africa, First Lady Remi Tinubu, of course, his children are split between Christians and Muslims, and you can go on and on to douse that sense. Say, look, this is not going to be an all-Muslim ride. Of course, how they are able to manage the socio-political situation of the country, has been an issue. And I think he is recognizing the fact that the people that gave him almost 70% of the vote, which is the people from the north and the Muslims, are very, very vile and angry. Whether or not leaving the ticket for a Muslim vice president will change their feelings as it is, I don't think so, because the word on the street and in the villages in the northeast, they are even accusing Vice President Shettima for being a sellout, for not working for them. Whether it is President Tinubu's fault or not is a kettle for another day. But I think the Muslim ticket is not as thorny as it used to be. The focus should be, have they delivered, whether Muslim Christian, whether Muslim, and then what are the opposition doing to counter that, whether their own ticket is diverse or the same faith. I think the issue is for the northern Christians, which is also the same with the northern Muslims.
Yeah.
The political leaders are the same at the top, brothers and sisters. They sit down, they strike deals, they do business, they partner, and they abandon the people.
Regardless of ethnicity.
We can take a roll call without wanting to talk down on people. I'm saying this with profound respect to everybody. I'm a son to a lot of them. I'm a younger brother to a lot of them. And I'm a father to and a senior to most of them. But what is essential is to speak to the issues.
Yeah.
If you count 10 northern Christian leaders and 10 northern Muslim leaders, how had they fared to their people down to the grassroots?
That's a very
The answer
important
is the same. So let them not play this yo-yo to us. As far as I'm concerned, there has been a balance. If we want to be fair to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as far as the northern political dynamics are concerned, I'm saying recognizing the northern Muslim Christians, recognizing the fact that this is a man whose wife is a senior pastor, who is running a diverse home, and who is a politician that wants to win election, whether he is a core Muslim or not, doesn't matter. We have seen a lot of northern Christians that have been given appointment in this government.
Right.
How they translate that down to the constituencies, the same way with the so-called Muslims that are bragging they are bringing votes, and then the highest number of children out of the school, the Al-Majris, are the Muslims. The highest number of multidimensionally poor, out of the 133 million, almost 65% are Muslims. So how has that really impacted us? And I think the conversation is about what are the impacts the political leaders are bringing to their people, either individually as a group, Muslim or Christian, or collectively. Unless people start looking at those issues, then we will continue misfiring ourselves while they continue staying and calling themselves brothers and sisters, while we'll fight each other and continue killing each other.
Excellent point, Madam. Final question, because of our time. I want you to also comment on the latest developments on this fake presidential agency. Now the guy has been arrested.
Yes.
The judge says that he didn't come to the court hearing. They reportedly picked him up in Osun State in an hideout, and President, as at last week, has asked ICPC to take charge. But people are still saying that, look, what about the guy who is being accused? What's your updated take?
Okay, I will open with my position that I said in another media house, that people should direct their attention, and Mr. President and the presidency should take note of this, over and beyond anything. The administration of criminal justice of Nigeria is encrusted in that justice system, that the motive of disclosing crime does not exonerate the perpetrators from culpability. Therefore, demonizing Adeyemi, directing all the attention to Adeyemi, does not in any way make those that are being alleged to be accused innocent, or exonerate them from culpability, if any. And therefore, I think the conversation and the investigations and whatever we are going to do should show clearly that it is not about a bunch of thieves. One went to report the others, and the one that reported because he didn't get, they are fighting over sharing formula, which is a clear analogy. 3 thieves went to steal profit. One of them felt aggrieved with the sharing formula, or because he is the one that actually got is in custody of the loot, is refusing to share with others. The other decided to blow a whistle as an analogy.
Yeah, it's an analogy.
And then, because the other blew the whistle and has a bigger voice, the conversation is like, this man holding the loot or with the loot is the thief. No, we have 3 thieves, Nigerians. As an analogy, potentially.
Yes,
so we should x-ray the issues. And the government should also speak in that regard to demonstrate level of intelligence and integrity. Let us not reduce ourselves to children. Because even children, like I was saying, my daughter and people in undergraduates already know that this issue is not about Adeyemi alone.
Yeah.
Because the motive of disclosing crime does not exonerate perpetrators from culpability. In fact, in other countries, people become prosecution witness for whatever reason and court deals.
Yeah.
Why? So that you can get to the root of the issue, which should be the focal point of this government at this point in time.
Yeah.
How do we end up with a fake institution? Could it be there are more? We have about 2,000 entities in Nigeria that are the behest of appointment of President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. What should be the thinking process of Mr. President and his team now? Could it be there are others? I'll give you an example. There is a gentleman called, I will have to refer to my notes, that contacted me to give credence to this issue.
Okay.
In sometimes last year around, and I want Nigerians to listen to this very carefully. His name is Mr. Galadima. Not
Buba Galadima.
Yes, that's why I want to get the name.
Is it Buba?
Not Buba Galadima.
Okay.
He is claiming to be working with the presidential villa. That is instructive. And claiming to be working in the office of the president. And now claiming to be in the business of giving racket for appointments. As a public figure, I was contacted and he said he got my number. And this Ahmed Umar Galadima, I have all the documents, claimed that he is going to facilitate for me to get a ministerial appointment, chair of the board appointment in the presidency. That was about August last year. And I said, really? He said, who are you? He said he's a chief detail. He's part of the chief details of the in the presidency. I said, okay, fine. What do you want from me? He said he wants my CV, he wants this and that. I said, really? He said, so, and I said, you know what? Play along with this guy. So I played along. Cut the long story short, 2 days later, he came with a proposal for me to part with some huge amount of money, about 100 million or so.
Wow.
And it will be given to me. And I said, what if I give the money and I don't get the appointment? Do you get what I'm saying? And he said, no, they can't do that because you know what? I said, no. Most of us, everybody is doing his own. So if they call me out, I'll call all of them out. Water under the bridge. One of my aides.
Well, were you able to identify whether the guy is actually real?
That's where I'm heading to. One of my aides found out that this man has also actually defrauded almost 20 other people.
Wow.
For this employment scam, whether it is at the highest level or middle cadre level.
Meaning
in fact, there is a petition by those people now in the office of the director of DSS. So what am I saying? When people are shouting that people are buying appointment in the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, they pay for appointments, that is why they do what they want, you hear all manner of things. I think it is proper to clean the house. It is probable the president is not aware, and if he's not aware, he should be interested to know why, because this is impacting on his administration. Even if Mr. President and his team think that they are going to get a solo win in 2027, what about the impression of the international community? Because in the next 2 to 3 months, I can tell you, things like this can change the entire political dynamics of this country. Because enough should be enough. If you are not interested in finding out the root cause of this issue, leaders of places like EFCC or others have received Adeyemi in their offices on a courtesy call. This man has a diplomatic passport. And all the conversation is about the man is a fraudster. The man is a fraudster. Within the leadership value field, there shouldn't be less than 5 to 6 people. I'm not saying it is the EFCC chairman that's
whose head should be rolling.
You see, people like the EFCC chair and others accept this man because they believe that all the processes have been done. But that I wonder how they feel in their private moments to say, what is this? How do we get ourselves into this? With a view to say, how do we correct this going forward? But if you now go, the target is to prosecute Adeyemi, send him to jail. Then Nigerians are being sold yet again a dummy. Like I've given you the precedents the other day. We are here during the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. A Minister of Aviation went, painted a Boeing 737 aircraft in Ethiopia, brought it and presented it to Nigerians and with the president with fanfare that this is a Nigerian carrier. And the consequences were that he's undergoing prosecution. He's still a chieftain of a political party. Now, if we continue with this and we say it is okay, what about our children? What about our great-grandchildren?
Watching.
What about us? Because President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will leave office. To the glory of Almighty God, whether one time or second time. We have President Olusegun Obasanjo is alive. We have former head of state Babangida. We have former head of state Abdul Salam Abubakar. We can go on and we have Dr. Goodluck Jonathan and others. They are still living. How are they moving around the world? How are they being, accepted and all that? How will President Bola Ahmed Tinubu or his team want to be, seen or engaged moving forward with all this fast, especially members of the cabinet that are still young, that still have a political future? They should not think that Nigerians or the world would be fools to continue engaging in the same way. After all, the moment you are out of office, you are basically a political offer. I don't think APC will be holding sway post their tenure, whether 2027 or 2031. I have a strong feeling, unless they change this, it will go the way, if not worse, of the PDP.
Thank you so much, Malam Baba Yusuf.
My pleasure, anytime.
For those very insightful and very comprehensive analysis.
Appreciate
I wish that we had more time, but we will, going forward, delve deeper into these issues. And I'm very persuaded that, the people that matter, they can hear us loud and clear.
It's not about them. Yeah. It's about Nigeria.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's about our country, and that's why we're here. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much. My pleasure, anytime.
Thank you so much.